joining us. I'm Robert Theobald, the Small Business Ombudsman and Vice President of Small Business Services at the Arizona Commerce Authority. We appreciate you taking time this morning to join us for the Boot Camp and Resource Collective. We want to start by thanking all of our community partners. All these folks and many others have been very helpful in allowing us and supporting us in the Boot Camp series and providing great content to help support your businesses. The Boot Camp and Resource Collective is designed to help small businesses, focusing on 20 employees or less, but all businesses are welcome to attend. And it's a statewide initiative supported by our community partners, and it's a daily boot camp. We've been running it every day for the last 6.5 weeks, almost 7 weeks. And we've also compiled a resource collective with the items that we've gained from our community partners. So next week's topics, today we've got a great marketing session we'll get to, but next week's topics on Monday, we've got an update on our PPP loan forgiveness and the rulings that just came down from the SBA on the Flexibility Act. So that's gonna be a great session on Monday. On Tuesday, we've got Starbucks sharing with us how they're ensuring consumer confidence and trust. We've got a great session on succession planning and how to successfully transfer ownership of your business if that's something you're looking at doing. On Thursday, we've got restaurant operations and the new normal. And on a Friday, we've got another return to marketing, return stronger session. So another great session planned for next week. Quick updates on PPP. As of yesterday evening, we're still sitting strong at well over 100 billion in the PPP loan pools. So again, if you're still waiting on your bank to help get you a PPP loan, there's other lenders that can move quick and help you tap into those funds that are available. Additionally, on the slide down below, we have the link to the Treasury page that lists the SBA's new interim final rulings on the PPP Flexibility Act. And again, we will be addressing that information on Monday's PPP session. Overall, between PPP and idle loans, Arizona's received over $9.5 billion in funds to help spur our economy and hopefully get things back to normal. So just a reminder of the services that ACA has available for small businesses and all size businesses is we have our small business network where we can help navigate through the SBA and the small business development centers who are a great partner of ours. Our workforce team can help both the employee and employer side of workforce. And then our Arizona MEP, our Manufacturing Extension Partnership, can help those of you that are manufacturers looking to improve your business and your processes. Just a reminder to check out the state's Arizona Together website for all things that COVID-19 related for information and resources. Also for additional resources, guides, we have our page here with all the links to different guides that have been put out by our community partners to help your business reopen and stay strong as we come through this pandemic. Whether it's restaurant, salon, barbershop, construction, there's a guide in here that can help you with that. Reminder for business resources, we have our azcommerce.com COVID-19 page. Through that page, you can find many resources, including the links to our boot camp and our prior boot camp sessions. So today's speaker, we're excited to have Melanie, and I pronounced her last name correctly once, and I just forgot how to pronounce it correctly, so I'm not going to try it. But she is the founder of Social Mana, and helps businesses drive online sales through Facebook and Instagram. So we're going to turn some time over to her. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let her pull up her screen and jump right in. Thank you, Melanie.
All right, thank you so much. All right, bear with me because this is the part that I get sticky here. Start from beginning. All right, okay. So the thing I really wanted to focus on for this presentation is helping businesses get the word out that they're open. So this is something that you can start doing now, what we're going to go over today. These are things that you can start doing now. And then I'm going to go over a strategy that when it is go time, how you can really ramp that up. So what we're going to cover in the presentation is really how to help you absolutely dominate your local market. So these are the exact strategies that I use for my clients. I have additional ones, but these are the two that I'm focusing on today. And if you haven't been to one of my presentations before, these are pretty meaty. I want you to be able to walk away and take something and actually implement it without having to pay me or having to do anything. I want you to be able to take away and take action. And then I did let Robert and Mark both know if there's questions along the way, please put them in the chat or whatever they have prepared for you, and they'll pop in and let me know, because I also don't want to lose anyone along the way. And of course, I'm available for questions later on if you need some additional help. But we're going to cover how to dominate the local market, how we can turn one-touch marketing into 20, 50 touches. And then also we're going to go through this in a way that's going to maximize your marketing budget. So I'm presenting two different strategies. One is if you have very little budget, and one is if you have additional budget that you can use so that everybody has something they can take away. So the first thing I wanted to share is why small business matters to me. I was born in a small town in Northeast Oregon. These are actually pictures from the main street of my hometown. JCPenney's has gone under, but the Granada movie theater is still there. And this picture on the right here, this is actually the building that my dad's office was in, and that little, the arrow points to his actual office. He was he sold hearing aids. And so everybody that I knew in my small town, it was all small business owners. My friends, my family, they all owned different businesses, and life was great. And then there was a huge shift in the marketplace, and Walmart came to town. And it literally crushed the economics in my hometown. We saw friends and family that lost their business, and eventually my dad had to close up shop as well, because people started caring more about price than they did about customer service. So he had to go in a different direction as well. And that left a huge mark on me, and I didn't realize until I literally fell into marketing a few years ago how big that was. But I started in marketing about 4 years ago, working for an attorney, and as a local attorney in Gilbert. And what the strategy that we had at the time was completely mail-based. And I had pulled up sales year over year. And what I was finding is we were actually trending down year over year. So for job security, I was trying to figure out, okay, how can we market differently than we are, or I'm not going to have a job. And the problem that we were facing at the time is Google pay-per-click was too expensive in the law arena. We couldn't afford the words that we needed to get found there. So I was forced to look at other things. And that's how I fell into, literally into social marketing, primarily on Facebook and Instagram. And I literally found, like, to me, it felt like I had found the golden ticket, because it was the first time that everything was a completely level playing field. It didn't matter if you were Walmart or Wally's Taco Shack. The same amount of money is going to go the same distance to the same people. You just need to know how to apply it. So that's how I got into where I am now. I launched Social Mana about 3 years ago. So just some stats. We've increased client revenue by as much as 106%. We've achieved monthly return on ad spends for our clients as high as 17.98. And we work with a mix of local brick and mortars and independent entrepreneurs, as well as 6- and 7-figure e-commerce brands. So I have a pretty good mix as far as being able to test what's worked for ads, work with a whole bunch of different budgets. So there's a lot of mix in there. And so I've tried to pull out what I feel will be the best value for you guys today. So problems that I have seen, or just in, I'm a member of NABO, so I'm around a lot of women-owned businesses, and just we've been communicating about through this whole thing, you know, how do we move forward? What can we do? All that kind of stuff. The things that I keep hearing is struggling to keep the local community updated with operational changes. And in some cases, this is literally, you know, day to day to day. I know one of my clients, he went, I think in a matter of 3 days when it first started, he went from, okay, we have to do limited hours. Okay, we have to do curbside pickup. Okay, we can only ship now. It was literally like each day we had to, like, I hate the word pivot because everyone's using it, but literally each day we had to change the strategy. So that's a struggle. How do we keep everyone updated so that we're not losing sales that we could be getting just because we didn't get the information out? Also, there's an unwillingness, and I completely understand this because this is me, but to spend money on marketing efforts where they can't track a return. The dollars are more important than ever right now. And so we need to make sure that whatever we're spending on marketing, that we know that it's making an impact and we're seeing the results on that. I've also heard where people are really unsure where to focus the marketing budget because the funds are tight. So that kind of ties into the other one. And then also just being busy with being small business owners, multiple responsibilities. There's not a lot of time. And we need a simple system that we can almost plug and play. And so the solutions that I'm going to present are twofold. The first one is what I call a digital drip system. And that is like the small budget. So this is how we utilize Facebook and Instagram to market to your local community, spending anywhere from $1 to $5 a day. So super affordable and super effective done correctly. And I'm going to walk through how you would do that today. And then if you have a bigger budget, then what I recommend is doing cross-channel marketing, which is where we're combining digital marketing with your traditional marketing platforms, which is print, EDDM. I would throw email in this as well, but it's more of a comprehensive, but that is going to take some more funding because you're going to have to pay for the print and mailing and then also the ads. Okay, so we're going to start digging in. The first thing that you need to have in place to advertise on Facebook and Instagram, and so for those of you that don't know, Facebook purchased Instagram, so they are separate platforms, but they're under the same umbrella. You need to have your business page, and this is not your personal profile page, but your business page, and you need to have a business page to run ads for those of you that do not know that, in Facebook Business Manager. And this is to protect your assets. So it's super simple. If you do not have Business Manager, you're just gonna go to the facebook.business.com. It's gonna ask for your personal login. You log in, and then it's gonna ask what page that you want to add into it. So add all of your business pages in there that you have, and then you also want to add your ad accounts in there as well. One of the biggest reasons that this is important, because there has been a lot of changes within Facebook, and I know I think there was another one that deep dived into Facebook, so I don't want to go too deep in here, but this protects your assets. I see time and time again where someone has made an employee the admin, and the relationship goes bad, and the admin takes the page hostage. So this is, and I've seen ad managers do this. People that are in my profession can do this. They could take your page hostage. They can take your ad account hostage. So this protects your assets. It tells Facebook that this is my business, I own it. This is my ad account, I own it. If anything funky happens, or if you get hacked, people can get hacked and they take your page over. Like, I've seen all kinds of craziness. So this is step one. There is a learning curve on it. Don't freak out. Things are going to look a little bit different, but this is best practice. And then the second thing you're going to want is your Facebook Pages Manager app, and this is for your mobile, for your phone. And this is what will allow you to interact as your page, because once we put it into Business Manager, if you try to utilize your page through the regular Facebook app, it's not going to work correctly. So once it's in Business Manager, you'll want this Facebook Pages Manager so that you can manage your page on mobile. It's a completely separate app. You go in there. It doesn't have your personal feed and all that stuff on there. It's just your business. And so your notifications are just your business. Your messages are just your business. You can run your ads through there and everything. So those are the two things that you're going to want to have in place before you get all crazy with this. All right, so the small budget strategy. So the phases I'm going to walk you through is creating the local audience in Facebook Ad Manager to drip market your ads to. And the reason that we're going to do this is this is where you have like a physical location and you're like, most people will drive 10 miles to get to my location. So you would set a 10-mile parameter, and we're going to walk through this. But the reason you want to do this, it's kind of the same theory as if you were putting an ad in the newspaper every day, or you were sending a mailer every day. It's not you're going to do one ad and all these people are going to rush into your establishment. It's that you're keeping yourself top of mind. So when the potential customer is ready to make a buying decision, you've already been in their feed. A lot of mistakes that people make when spending ad money is they dump a whole bunch of money into an ad campaign and they're like, nothing happened. But people have never heard of you before. You've never been in their feed. Like it takes that repetition. And, you know, this is going to kind of set up the know, like, and trust factor. Phase 2, I'm gonna talk about content, what kind of content you're gonna use for this. Then phase 3, I'm gonna walk you through how you decide what to utilize as an ad, because with this strategy, what we're actually gonna be doing is we're gonna be utilizing your existing content as ads. And then phase 4 is super easy. It's rinse and repeat. Have I lost anybody yet? I did see one little chat thing.
Yeah, Melanie, there's one quick question on how many Facebook business pages you can have at a time.
Okay, there's no limit to the amount of Facebook business pages that you can have that I've seen anybody reach. However, you can only have 2 business managers. And the other caveat I would say, if this is you, because I run across this a lot, do not have your business page tied to what we would call a dummy Facebook account. I see this so many times where people are worried that I don't know what they're worried about, that their business and their Facebook pages, their personal Facebook is tied together. Facebook is shutting down fake profiles, and it knows it's fake because you don't have friends, you don't engage on it. You know, there's the way that the system can tell which ones are fake. And if you have your page set up under a fake account and they take it away, there's no getting it back. Like, you lose everything. So yeah, I just want to put that out there because I see it way too often. So let's jump into just a case study. So this is a holistic nutritionist out of Mesa that we use this exact system. So her business was less than a year old. She wasn't doing a good job of posting consistent content. She needed to gain awareness because she had an office in Mesa, but nobody knew she was there. Super small budget, but again, she needed to reach that local community. And using the same strategy allowed her to get consistently week in and week out in front of 4,200 potential clients every week. So I don't know where else you can get that kind of consistent reach, which is what we need when we have a small business. We need that repetition. Was there another question there, Mark, that I need to stop for?
Just a question. I was thinking about marketing my personal brand and my business brand on different Facebook pages.
Okay, yeah, so what you do for that is your business would be a business page, and then your personal brand, which is actually something that I recommend, I do it myself, is under a public figure page. And I would put all my effort under the public figure page and mention the business page, because that allows you the flexibility if you want to write a book, if you want to start a different business, if you want to, you're putting all your effort and driving all your traffic into that public figure page. So super smart strategy there. Okay, so this is her organic reach results. So this is just why I want to share, when you can take organic content and you can put money behind the right posts in the right way, Facebook will reward you. So this is her organic reach results 4 months apart. So you can see she kind of got double digits here before anything she would post. And then after we started doing what I call this $1 a day strategy, her organic reach was almost 3 times. So before we were even putting money behind anything, it's already showing her stuff to more people, which is what we want. We want to start putting fuel on the fire and leverage the algorithm to work for us, so that it's not so much of a pay to play. There's a way to teach it to do what you want it to do. And that's what we're going to do in this strategy. So the very first thing that you need to do, and again, I set Robert the slide so he has these. You'll be able to go back through and access the slide, and obviously this will be recorded. But I'm going to walk you step by step through how you do this. This is the most important part of running ads right here. If you utilize the other options Facebook has for ads, that's where your ads kind of go out into the middle of nowhere, especially if you're a local business. We want to target this down so that we are drip marketing on the same audience day in, day out, all the time. And so we have to set that audience up first for this to work correctly, because if you don't have the audience in there, you're not going to be able to choose it when you go to set the ad or boost the post. So you're going to go into your audiences in Business Manager, and when you hit create audience, it's going to give you these options. For this particular strategy, we're going to use saved audiences. So just an overview, just a quick overview. The custom audiences means you're providing Facebook the data. So that's a mailing list, an email list, a customer list, something that you're providing data you own. The lookalike audience is using existing data. that the Facebook pixel has. So we're not covering that today. That's kind of like a level 3. A special ad audience would apply to you if you are any, like if you're housing, real estate, attorney, any political, that's going to apply to you. But we're going to use saved audience, which means we're going to utilize the data that Facebook has to create our targeting audience. So when we create this, the first thing that you want to do is have a system for your naming conventions. So for me, I do the business name or initials of the business. And then I also do what the radius is that I use for this particular audience. So for this one, we did a 10-mile, and then I like to name it drip, which that's for, so that I know that's the one I'm going to choose. That's the audience that we're dripping on for this particular client. And then you want to make sure it automatically defaults right now to people who live or are in this location, which that might work great if you are a restaurant, because you don't want just people that live there. If there's people out there shopping, then you want them too. So make sure you choose whichever of these locations. It gives you a bunch of different choices that makes the most sense for your business. There's also one that are traveling to. So if you were like an Airbnb or a VRBO, you could use people that are traveling to this location, because you want to start capturing people that are researching that area. So pick whatever applies, but most of the time we will use people that live in this location. For my brick and mortars, typically that's what we'll do. But again, I don't have any restaurants. So if I was a restaurant or a coffee shop or something that people would just pop in, I would do who are currently in or live in. And then you would put in your address of your business and then the radius. So again, think about how far people would drive to get to you, okay? Because you might want in the 100 miles, but we also need to keep in mind, we want to get this number down a little bit so that the small budget that we have does the most amount of, is optimized for the most. So in this particular business case, if you saw the other page, it said 168,000. If I'm only spending $1 a day or a couple dollars a day on ads, 168,000, I'm only going to catch a fraction of that audience. So what I like to try to do is get the audience down to 10, 11, 12,000. And so we are going to use some of the targeting parameters to get that down. So the example that I have used in this particular audience that are creating, this was a print shop in Scottsdale, or in Phoenix. So she's in an industrial area that has a lot of businesses around her, but nobody knows she's there because she's in an industrial area. And so you could see on the slide before it was 168,000. That's too big for our budget. So what I try to do is walk people through what type of interest would make sense for that business. You don't want to go crazy on here. You're going to have to play it around to get to, 10, 11,000 people. But here was our thought process here. She wants to be in front of small business owners, but they also need to be businesses that are large enough that they're going to spend money on print. And so we chose Infusionsoft as an option. There were other ones we played around with. We played around with GoDaddy. We played around with a few others, but you want to pick the one interest if you need to. There are other businesses and clients that I have that we haven't had to narrow it down any further. You can also make your radius smaller to narrow it down. But this particular audience, once we put Infusionsoft in there, it narrowed it down to 11,000 people, so we ran with that. If we need to narrow it further, you want to use this narrow audience further. So we could go, if we needed to drop it further, you could use small business owner is a targetable audience. But the key is do not resist the urge to go crazy in here, because we want the algorithm to do all the work for us. And if we harness it too much, it's not going to work at all. So only put the minimum that you need to put in there to get to 11,000. Now, if you were a restaurant, you could do whatever type of food that you serve. Or if you're a coffee shop, you could do people that are interested in coffee. So get a little creative here. If you need help with this, again, just reach out. I'm not going to charge you, but if you need help troubleshooting any of this, because we only have so much time, please reach out. But the key, again, try to get this down to 10, 11, 12,000 people. So Why does open targeting work? What we're doing here is called open targeting. We literally only put one interest target in there because we had to narrow the audience down. There's, I don't want to say a million, but there's like thousands of combinations, hundreds of thousands of combinations you can use in here because Facebook has a lot of data, and it also has access to the data Google has and a whole bunch of other people. So, you know, you can literally target, I want moms that have kindergartners that drive, you know, Honda Accords, that, you know, you can narrow it all the way down, but you're choking the algorithm because we want to leave it as open as possible so it can find the people that are going to take the action we want them to take. So don't open Pandora's box and all this stuff. Okay, so phase 2, we want to document your opening through content. So the key is, and I know people are going to freak out, but the key is no freaking call to action. We're not asking these people to do anything, because what we want to do is we want to very softly show up in the feed and start sharing who we are. So these are just some posts that I just pulled last night really quickly. Only a couple of these I think are local businesses. But this is a great post. This is a scroll stopper because I'm stopping to see what the heck that is because it looks delicious. Again, this is a great, they're not asking anything. They're just saying, hey, here we're open. You know, Shmir's talking about their new jalapeno cheddar bagels. I love this one. They've got their family out here with their business. And then this one's just a really pretty picture of soap. But the key is we don't want these ads to look like ads. We want these ads to look like content. Because when it looks like an ad, people feel like you're asking them to do something, and nobody likes that. So we're just creating content about, we're just sharing what our store looks like, sharing what we offer, sharing who we are. So no, absolutely no call to action. If you put a call to action on this, I cannot guarantee it will work because that's not how it's designed. So make sure you're doing, posting something daily. Again, this is a great strategy if you're not open yet. Share what you guys are doing to get ready to open, because that introduces you in the feed very softly. And then people will want to support you when you do open because they've been seeing what you've been doing all along. So the next thing, you've got all of this content in here that you've been creating each day, right? So then you want to get familiar with the insights. So again, this is your insights tab. And this is just showing you how your posts are performing. So this is showing you, you know, a snippet of what it is. This is showing you the type of post. So these are images. This is a video, the reach, and then this is all reach, and then the engagement. So you want to sort it by engagement. There's a little button there that you can sort by engagement because the entire algorithm is based off engagements. So the more engagement your post gets, meaning it's likes, comments, shares, reactions, then the further it's going to push it out and show it to more people. So if your content isn't getting seen by anybody, it's the wrong type of content. Your audience gets to choose what they like, not us. So the insights really needs to be something that you get yourself familiar with. So what I do every Friday for my clients that I manage this for, every Friday I go in here and I literally don't even care what the content is. I'm just looking to see what was the most engaged content that we had. So we're looking, and I think my little circle thing like got moved down because it's actually supposed to be over this one. But we're looking for what had the most engagement. So obviously this one did. So from here, we're gonna hit the boost post. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about boost posts because there's a huge, everyone's like, boosting posts is a waste of money. Nobody should boost posts, you should create an ad. The truth is a boosted post is an ad. So that's the first myth bust right there. It's just an ad that's created for engagement only. So if you're looking for sales, if you're looking for video views, if you're looking for conversions or opt-ins, that's not, you can't use a boost because a boost is just an engagement ad, which is telling Facebook, I want people to like, comment, or share on this post. And that's what we're trying to do with this strategy. So I don't want you to think that you've heard that boosting post is a waste of money. It is a waste of money if you don't have your audience set up first and you're not looking for engagement, then it is a waste of money. But in this strategy, we're looking for engagement and we already created our audience. So this is the best and quickest way to do it. So we would click on the boost post button, and then that's gonna bring up this screen. It's gonna go ahead and boost it. So the thing you wanna make sure, because Facebook gets funky and changes this stuff all the time. Make sure that it's selected, get more people to react, comment, and share. And make sure there's no freaking button. Lately, it's defaulting to add a button, like a message us button, and that sounds great. but then that looks like an ad. So again, please resist from these looking like ads or they're not going to perform. So I always select no button because I just want a piece of content that's going to blend into the feed and so people can get to know me. So no button, and then it's going to ask us to select your audience. If your audience doesn't show up here, because I think it's automatically going to default to people who like your page or people who like your page and their best friends. I say best friends, I just added that. That's not even in there. If your audience isn't here, don't panic. Just go to see all, and it's going to bring up all the audiences you have created, and then you can select it. Once you start using it, it will automatically populate there. But if you can't find it, just do the see all. And then this always changes too. We just want to set it for 7 days at $7. So we're spending $1 a day on this post. And then you just hit boost. So this post is going to go out to our drip audience for $1 a day. Depending on your budget, I would try to, if you're posting content every day, I would try to pick 3 each week. And if they're doing really well, you can extend them too. But 3 each week, and then after a week, these are going to go away. And then next week, I'm going to pick 3 more. So you can kind of see how you're staying in the feed and you're not being annoying. And it's just really good content, sharing what you're doing in a way that doesn't look like an ad, isn't asking people to do anything. So this allows you to stay front and center of your local market day in and day out for like literally a couple bucks a day. So for that, you just do it week in and week out. For me, I just set it on Fridays. The clients create the content. I just go in there every Friday, pick the winners and shove them out. So it's super simple. It's only going to take you, the content's going to take longer to create than actually this process. So before we move on to the other strategy, is there any questions on this one? I don't think I see any chat. Okay, so I just wanted to just touch on why does retargeting or drip marketing work. Again, this is allowing you to leverage consistency and time rather than money. Some businesses have money to spend, and then, you know, great, then we do the other strategy, but some businesses don't. So we're gonna pay with consistency over time. The other thing is it takes, I don't even think this is right anymore at this point because we get so bombarded every day, but it typically takes 6 to 7 touches before someone converts and takes an action. So this allows us to have those multiple touches, moving people to either reach out and message or call us in a way, again, that's not spammy or like ad bombarding. And then also, it's been proven time and time again that people who are retargeted, which is what we're doing, we're showing ads to the same people, are 70% more likely to convert. And again, it's because you've stayed top in mind. You've allowed them to come along with you on the journey of your store reopening or your business reopening. They feel like they know you a little bit more. So you're not just showing up in their feed randomly, asking them to buy your stuff, which is what 98% of people that run ads do. So let's talk about the bigger budget strategy. So let's say you're like, hey, I want to do a mailer. I want to go all out. Oh, I see a question. So before I move on, I want to catch that.
Do you see those, Melanie, or do you want me to read
I can't see the question. No, you have to read it.
All right, so you create daily content posts each day, and then at the end of the week, set up the ad and boost those posts?
Yeah, you want to boost whatever your budget is. If you only have a budget to run $1 a day and spend $30 a month, and just pick the best one, which we have a church that we work with, and that's what we do. We pick the best performing post for the whole week, and that runs as an ad to that audience. If you have more, you can do up to 3 to 5. Typically, on average, we do about 3. We'll pick the best 3, and we'll run with those. And again, it's not that 3 you like the most. It's whatever got the most engagement, because what we're doing is Facebook has picked what works the best with our audience. And then when you put money behind that, you are rewarded by Facebook, and they'll show it to more people for less amount of money than if you just picked some random post.
And then a few other questions. What's a reasonable budget or budget range to have available for both of your strategies, and over what period of time if you're just getting started for Facebook or Instagram marketing?
I generally say, ideally you want at least $500 a month. The bigger budget strategy would be 500. The 500 would go to Facebook and Instagram, and then whatever your print costs are. And then typically, it really takes like 90 days of consistency to start seeing an impact if you're doing it yourself. I just want to be reasonable. But the key is not switching strategy or audience. The biggest problem is people are randomly sniping audiences. Like, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do that. And they didn't give enough time for anything to work. From an optimization standpoint, it takes Facebook at least 3 days or 100 actions, confirmed actions, for it to learn what it is that you want it to do. And then the key to that is you have to have told it correctly what it is that you wanted it to do. So it's a system that learns based off of what you tell it to do and what happens. So you shouldn't even touch an ad until it's been running at least 3 days to make any changes, because it's still learning. And they're doing better with the system of letting you know, like now it tells you it's still in the learning phase, so don't touch it. But yeah, I hope that answered it a little bit. And then I think I saw one more.
Yeah, there's two more. Do those boosted posts, does that work with posts with videos as well?
Yes, so with videos, you would just, it's gonna ask you automatically, it will default to video views, and that's what you want. And so just so you guys know, on the ad objectives, which means engagement or video views or conversions or leads, that's what you're telling Facebook that you want. So when you run an ad, like if we just boosted that for video views, it will take a look at your audience and it will pick the people that watch videos. So know that, because I had another client that was like a chiropractor, and they're like, we ran this ad and nobody walked in. And I'm like, well, you told Facebook that you wanted people that liked, comment, and reacted. And they're like, oh. Like, so it's going to do what you tell it to do. So engagement, it's going to show those ads to the people that like, comment, react, and share, which is what we want to do on that original strategy, because we're looking for awareness. We just want people to know that we're here, we're open, we're ready for business. This is who we serve. This is what we're doing. So we want that engagement.
And Melanie, one more question. What process would I do or select if I have two separate audiences? So for example, a local communities and then tourists that come in.
Those I would not probably use through the boost option. You're going to have to go into Ad Manager and create two separate ad sets. So same campaign, but the ad sets are different audiences that you can do. So you can do that. And then you can also utilize that same exact ad, but again, that's a little bit more of a technical strategy. It allows you to compound the social proof, but it is possible. You just can't do it through the boost. The boost is just really limited because it's only for that specific quick purpose.
Great, thanks. I think we can keep moving.
Okay, so the bigger budget strategy. All right, I'm doing okay on time. So this is where we're utilizing direct mail. So you're sending out an EDDM or some kind of postcard mailer, and we're going to combine that with ads. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to walk through. We're going to plant the seed, the mailer is going to hit, and then we're going to run the retargeting. So again, just a quick case study. So the Higley Center of Performing Arts is a client, I think one of the very first clients that I started working with. And so before, they were spending all their money on, TV, radio, newspaper, magazine, billboards. And so he was like, Bob was like, hey, I want to take a chance on you. We had worked together when I worked for the attorney. So we started with the ads, which was great because they'd never done it before. So that makes me look really good when you've never done it before, and then it works amazing. But that first year they sold out 3 shows, and kind of what we've done is really reduce the print budget. And then we layer over where we're doing those print ads on his end with the audience that we have on my end. So again, we're going to go through the same process of creating the audience, but this time you're going to use the mailer. So if you're using a printer or even the post office, there should be a downloadable file that they're able to provide that has the information of who that mailer is going out to. So if you have gone and picked routes, or you've picked zip codes, however you've done that, they should be able to provide you with either an Excel or a .csv file that you're able to upload into Facebook. So if you have purchased a list from a list buyer, I know that that is an option where you can get more data. So you could possibly get emails and phone numbers and all of those kinds of things as well. So if you have that, you want all of it. If you only have addresses and names, then that's what we're going to input. But the more data you can provide Facebook, the more they can go through their database and try and match those people. So for this one, we're again in the audience manager, we're doing a custom audience because like I mentioned before, we are providing the data to Facebook. You're going to have to click a little box that says that the information is yours, that you didn't steal it from somewhere, that I didn't take my client's list and add them to mine. You're going to have some responsibility for that, but we're going to choose customer list here. So then it's going to show up this screen here. Again, it's going to give you, like, you have to sign off here, but it's just going to give you some ideas of the data points that it can match. And so that's just, it'll walk you through if you've never done this before. So then you just hit next, and then it's going to ask you if you have customer value. So let's say you're uploading, because this would also work to upload a client, like a client list. So if your client list included how much money they had spent with you, then you might want to put yes, because then it's going to be able to take that list and see who the most, your most valued customers are. But for most cases, we just put no, because this is still, it's not in beta, but I haven't seen that it's made that much of a difference even in my e-commerce clients. So typically it would be no, and then you hit next. And then you're going to go ahead and upload your file. So again, it will have you download if you're not sure how to do it, or you can just upload the file that your print gave you. Or again, you can use this for your email list. You can use this for your client list. It's all the same process. So you just upload the file, and then you want to name it. So for this just example, I was just guessing if I was doing the city of Gilbert for this mailer, or all my routes were in Gilbert, I would put Gilbert. I would put that it was an EDDM, and then I would put whatever the offer was. So I was just making this up, that let's say it's a 25% off coupon or something. And then I would put the date, because we're going to want to know, if you keep doing mailers like this, we're going to want to have an idea of which ones performed the best and what offer we had. So the more information you can put in here, the better off later on. And so when you upload it, it's going to come up with this screen that looks all crazy. So the first one right here, when you click on this one, it's going to be mapped. So this is what it assumed this information is. So you can see right here, like, this is actually an order number, but it's assuming it's a phone number. So I've got to change that drop down to say, don't import this. We don't need that. So you got to make sure that it matched whatever was there with the right. Again, it matched these order dates as date of birth, which they're not. So I've got to change that to do not upload, because I don't care about that. So you want to make sure the things that it matched were correct first, and then it will go into action needed. And those are the things that it couldn't figure out what they were. And so typically that's where the actual date of birth is, or the phone number. So you just go through each one and either put do not upload or put what it is. And then once you've worked through all those, you can just do upload and create. So then when you go in to create your ad, this is where, in the custom audiences, this is where your audience is going to show up for these particular ones. Now for this strategy, you're not going to be able to use that boost, because this is not a quick strategy. This is, we're really being intensive with the actual ads and what we're going to share, which I'll go through here in a minute. So this would be in ad managers, but you're going to put in custom audience. You can just start typing or click in here, and it will show up all your customer lists that you've created. And so you just pick it there. Okay, so the first part of this, we built the audience. We've got our EDDM at the printer, or it's in process. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to plant the seed with video. So the theory behind this, and this is what I did for another attorney, is he had a mailer going out to specific addresses based on income. And so that's the same audience we used on our side. So the first thing that I want to do is get him in the feed before the mailer hits, because we want to start that no factor. So you're not just some random person asking them to buy your stuff. Okay, we want to get in the feed. So for the 5 days before the mailer drops, you want to have these types of ads running. They need to be video, because you're going to get the most bang for your buck for video. You can get views for pennies, like literally. I have one client that's getting views for like a quarter of a penny. Like, it's ridiculous. It is a hobby store though, so they're like fun running remote control stuff around, but video is the cheapest way to do this. So this is a great opportunity to really start educating that market. So for this one, we did an educational video where he's explaining what a tetrant is and why he named his business that way. So other great videos are myths, frequently asked questions, DIY tips. If you're a restaurant doing cooking demonstrations, or anything that you can do that is just kind of opens people up to see if they're interested in you. So again, this is just preparing the ground for your mailer to hit. The other thing, if you want to be really forward, let's say you're a home maintenance company or something, I would actually, if possible, and we wanted to do this with Rob, but he didn't get the mailer in time, I would have the video of you with the mailer, and I would say, hey, we are running a special in your neighborhood. You're going to get this in your post office box in, you know, the next 5 days. We only have so many spots, but we're super excited. You know, do the video with the actual mailer, because when they open their mailbox and they get that out, there's going to be an association, whether they realize it or not, of that was you, that was the mailer, you said it was coming. So that's super powerful if you have the ability to do that. If not, use some of these other ideas for video to run that ad. But basically, we're just planting the seed. A lot of this is psychological. So they might not even watch this, but the logo may stick in their head. And then when they get the mailer, they're like, where have I seen that before? So that's basically what we're doing. So then your direct mailer hits the mail. So this was his. You want to give that like 2 or 3 days. And then we want to retarget that audience again. And this is where you're going to have the call to action. So they've got the mailer. The mailer was for a seminar that he was having that had multiple dates. So the ad that we have is actually, looks like an ad, because at this point we're saying you need to take action. Basically, we're trying to create urgency. You're gonna wanna do multiple ad formats, video, image, message, lead ad. There's a bunch of different options, but you can see all of this copy is really designed to close this, like to get them registered for the event. So we already told them it was coming. They already got the mailer that says, here's the options. And now we're going back in and say, hey, this registration is closing soon. I'm going to remind you, this is what we're doing. We set this particular thing up to look like a class, which was key. So this is just the information on it. And then the ad actually went to a landing page where we would collect the information. So again, now we have a possible email collect. And we had a lot of people actually use this registration page because maybe they didn't want to call, you know. So, people are weird about using the phone these days, I swear. So basically we're giving them multiple options and ways to do what it is that we want them to do. So you could use the same thing for a coupon. They could, you know, have to enter in their information to get the coupon, and you can message it to them. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use this, but the whole point is to be in multiple places. Another bonus thing that you could do, again, this would be great if you're some type of home maintenance or landscaping or any type of that, is to put the signs that you're in the neighborhood while the mailer's hitting and, you know, while all the ads are going around, because then literally they can't get away from you. I do see a question that popped in.
The question is, how can I get a copy of the recording of this webinar, which I'll just answer now. We post the slides and the recording to our bootcamp website. The link is in the chat. I'll repost, but those will go up later this afternoon.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so this would be like another, if you were something that was actually happening in the neighborhood, this is super inexpensive. Again, obviously you're gonna have to, I'm not a street sign code expert by any means, so, you know, follow the guidelines, whatever they are there. But this is another way to get a touch.
Melanie, another quick question. If I make a post on my page, how do I create a website link?
You're just gonna put the URL in the copy of the post. It's not gonna create a button, but it will allow people to click through on Facebook. On Instagram, there you can't click through a link on a post, so you've got to put it up in your bio. Okay, so basically what this has allowed us to do with the print system is, instead of just taking a chance on that one mailer that is going to go in the mailbox and may or may not end up directly in the trash, we have seeded this audience. We have mailed them something in the mail. We might have even told them to look for it if we were able to have that flyer to be able to show. And then we've ran ads afterwards as well. So that is allowing you to get literally, I think when we did the attorney, it was way more than 50 touches when I looked at all the impressions. Like, they literally couldn't get away from us, because if they, and not in an annoying way, because we didn't run it for like a year and a half. We literally just focused on those 5 days before the mailer hitting, and then the 5 days after. because typically the mailer, they'll give you a day or two that it's going to hit. So we let that hit, and then we started the retargeting the 5 days after, and then we were gone. We were out of their feed. So there's so much power in retargeting, you guys. People are busy. Life happens. You could be in the middle. I mean, how many times have you been in the middle of something and like Amazon drops off a package or the phone rings, you know, and then you forget that you wanted that thing or you were going to make that appointment or whatever. Also, the average rate of return for direct mail on its own is 0.5% to 2%. And for me, that's just not enough for the time that's invested. I want to be able to get the most out of that mailer that I can, because it is an expense. Also, like we mentioned before, visitors who retarget are 70% more to likely. And when you can likely to convert, and again, multiple touches is going to give you a higher rate of conversion day in and day out. So that is the whole presentation. I'll stop sharing, but definitely any other questions, or hopefully people could digest that. No, it's beefy. Or questions that don't have to do with this is fine too.
Here's a quick question. With the Facebook Boost feature on mind, which provide the best results for attracting customer videos or pictures? What are your thoughts on utilizing filters on posts? What is your take on adding tags to a post?
Okay. Filters, I think, are fine as long as it's not like, I don't know. I think filters are fine. I haven't seen that make a difference or not. Typically, the best performing content is stuff that's just raw and real and not overly produced. People tend to want to make like TV commercials as their ads, but those look weird in the feed. You know, it's not TV. It's social. It's people popping up and doing a selfie, and their counter back here is an absolute disaster. Like that, you know, it's real, it's raw, and it's relatable. So don't overthink the video production. You popping up on your camera, walking through your yard or your office is fine. Let the audience tell you what works and what doesn't. As far as tags, obviously you want tags on Instagram for sure. Facebook is just kind of distracting. It doesn't serve any purpose unless you're putting them in video when you're optimizing the video and putting tags in there. But as far as posts, it can be distracting. But again, let your audience decide. If it's working for you, don't listen to me. Like, do what works for your audience, because everyone's audience is different.
And on that, how long do you recommend for kind of video?
You ideally don't want anything longer than 3 minutes. That 1 to 3 minutes, if you can get minute and a half, that's like the primo spot, because the average watch time right now is 6 seconds. And Facebook counts a view. Anything that is 3 seconds or more is what Facebook counts as a view, which basically means you've stopped the scroll. So they're going to count that as a view. So if your video is getting, your average watch time is 6 seconds, just know that's average. When we're testing video for our clients, which we do a lot, because again, we can reach so many more people with video. And then what we're able to do is determine on how long someone watched a video, and then we just retarget the video watchers. So we're not retargeting everybody, we're just retargeting the people that are already interested, and then we start moving them through the ad funnel. So the metrics I look at, 6 seconds is average. If you have something that people are watching for 7, 8 seconds, that's good. 9, 10, 11 seconds, that's great. If you have a video that people are watching for 12 seconds or longer, we call that a unicorn, and you need to put money behind that all day long. And it could be something that you're like, oh, that video is dumb, but it doesn't matter. If you've held someone's attention for 12 seconds on a video, whatever that topic was about, you need to do more of it. So definitely utilize those metrics to help you determine what type of content is working well for your audience.
And Melanie, people are asking for contact info. Could you post that in the chat?
Oh, yes. Okay, that's my email, and then obviously the website, socialmeta.com. Does this work for not-for-profit? Okay, nonprofits. I actually got my, I started with nonprofits. So I worked for the attorney, I launched Social Mana, and then I decided I wanted to help nonprofits. And so I started a podcast with my friend Christine called The Cause Cafe, and we really dug into marketing for nonprofits. There's not a lot of episodes on The Cause Cafe though, if you go look at it, because we got busy. So then I decided if I was really gonna be able to tell nonprofits how to make this work, then I needed to, I went from a subcontracting to they offered me the director of development position, and I took it because I thought, oh, thank you for fixing that. I thought that if I was telling nonprofits how to make this work, then I really needed to know like what they were dealing with. And it was a year of a learning experience that I will never forget. It's not for me, but that is how I actually developed the $1 a day strategy, is because I was working with nonprofits. Before I got the job offer, I went to two that I knew and I said, hey, I'm trying to figure out how I can run ads like on no budget. So if you give me access to your page, I will pay for all the ads. I just want to see if we can make an impact with these. And that with the nonprofits, it's so, so huge. What we were able to do, because we're able to leverage the businesses that your nonprofit work with and the nonprofit at the same time, that highlights both of you to the local audience that you have around. So it's highlighting what your partners are doing. It's highlighting what your volunteers are doing. It's highlighting the people that you're helping, but not highlighting yourself. And the audiences with nonprofits are typically so engaged, so captive, that if you can get this system in place, you will see a huge, huge reach expand. You'll see businesses start coming forward, because when you start putting ads behind highlighting other businesses are going to want to work with you because it's free exposure for them as well. And we did it super inexpensively. I think my ad spend budget there was like $67 a month. And I have crazy ones that I can show you, because those posts were shared like hundreds and hundreds of times. So we may have paid $7, but we reached like, 15,000 people. So yes, it can be done for nonprofits, for sure, very easily.
Melanie, another question in here. You mentioned EDDM, I think that's direct mail.
Yes.
Does the post office have a CSV file of addresses only if you're just using zip code in a specific radius for the postcard mailing strategy with Facebook?
Yeah, so when I worked with Rob, he did his through the post office, and they provided that because that has all the names. But I don't know if he paid for an extra one for email, but it had like the whole, everything that the list was going out to. Now, if they've changed that in the last couple of years, then no. So that was maybe something that you want to ask before you move forward with that. That's the only time I've actually used the post office. With every other client, we've used a local printer. So we were able to get whatever we needed.
Great. Well, Melanie, I think we're just about out of time. There's one last question. What is your advice on going live on either Facebook or Instagram? Does the length of the live session generate negative effect on our posts?
No, it's always based on engagement. And live on either platform is going to get you the absolute most reach, especially on Facebook, because they're competing with YouTube. And so they will automatically push out live more than they will anything else organically right now. Plus, they need content for their watch feed.
Awesome. Well, any final words, Melanie? This session was really great. Again, it was recorded. It'll be posted on our website, link in the chat. Thank you, Melanie, for this awesome presentation and your expertise. I think there's a lot of hugely valuable nuggets in there. So appreciate you joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me. I hope that I hope you guys were able to walk away with some tangibles that you can like put into your business and really come back stronger. That's what this is all about.
Totally. Well, thank you, everyone. Hope to see many of you in our sessions next week. Again, go to the website and register. And with that, happy Friday.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great day.